I'm pro-gun control, but not to the extent where you have to have, like, 8,000 licenses to, like, if you have killed a couple people, you probably shouldn't have guns, but otherwise.
I'm pro-gun control.
Anti-gun control.
Do I consider it pro-gun control or anti? Probably pro-gun control.
So, today we're talking about guns. Late last year, there was a shooting in Vegas. And the man was a crazed man. He found a whole bunch of guns that he owned, that he stole, and he opened fire into a crowd. It was later revealed that this man was suffering from various mental illnesses, and no one knew about it. The government covered this up by saying that he was just a crazy man. No one knew where he came from, and he wasn't even a real citizen. But that's not true. The reason the government tried to cover this up is because they didn't want people to fight. They didn't want people to come out saying all these horrible things about the government and how they didn't do anything about this, and they're also trying to protect the people that advocate for open carry and all these types of gun laws. Now, the people that advocate to have guns in the homes of all people in the United States, they're going off of a statistic from 1903, which is the earliest we can record, that since that year, the gun violence has gone down at least 94%, from 3.8 to 0.18 deaths per 100,000 people. They're also using a statistic that only 0.4% of all accidental deaths are done with guns. Organizations such as the NRA, they advocate to have a person be smart enough to educate themselves on the use of firearms. If a man doesn't know how to use a firearm properly, he's just as dangerous as a 12-year-old that found it in his father's closet. Now, proper education and everything is a great thing, but there are factors that limit the resources available to educate. What these gun freedom activists fail to realize is that there's still problems in the buying of guns themselves. They're saying that there is a rigorous background check, and there is. It's just that it's seriously underfunded and outdated. It uses information from years ago to determine whether someone's okay to buy a gun, and for the most part, it does stop that. But people fail to realize that this background check doesn't include a mental scan.
Now we're gonna ask some questions.
Are you aware of what the full Second Amendment entails? That in order to keep a well-regulated militia, the right to bear arms?
Yep.
Yes.
Do I understand that?
Yes.
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 Do you support the idea that guns kill people?
No, I do not. People kill people.
Yeah, well, I do think that, like, you know, I mean, without guns, so I mean, like, I'm not against people having guns, but I know that people do take the actions to kill people. I just do feel like that there should be some kind of regulations that people can't have, like, you know, 80 guns in their house, because, you know, I don't think anybody needs that many.
Yes?
No, but guns do make it easier to kill people.
Do you believe that an untrained adult can handle a firearm than a better trained 10-year-old?
Probably not.
I don't know, that's a difficult question. I mean, probably not, because if you don't know what you're doing with the gun, then you could probably hurt somebody. So, I mean, somebody with the proper training. I mean, but the age is just kind of like a, I don't know, it's like a 10-year-old with a gun. It's kind of, it's a little, like, coney, you know.
No.
I don't know. It's a good question. Not enough information.
Are you aware that there are almost no screenings for mental illness during gun purchase?
Yup.
Yeah. You just gotta go in and pay the money and show ID, right?
Am I aware of that? No.
I've heard something to that effect before, but I've never gone through the process, so I'm not fully aware of what takes place in that process.
Do you think that there should be screenings?
There probably should be some extent to screenings.
Yeah. Because if you're mentally insane, you shouldn't be able to buy a gun.
Yes.
That would be very helpful. If you're going to have a process, yes, it should include that.
Would having a gun in a bad neighborhood make you feel safer?
I'd assume so, yes.
Not really, because other people have guns, and if there's more people with me than guns, then I'm screwed, right?
No, it'd probably be quite the opposite. It'd probably increase my fear.
Do you believe that people buy bigger guns to protect themselves from people that already have guns?
I believe that's true for some people, yes, but for the most part, not really.
Probably so.
No.
I believe that's the reason that a lot of people use, yes. I'm not sure that it protects them, but
Do you support the militarization of our police force?
They should have some weaponry to defend themselves if need be, but it's not always necessary, and it causes some issues.
Not really, because, I mean, I get, like, in some situations, like, the police have to be, like, heavily armed, like, if there's, like, some guy, like, pull up in his house and he's got, like, a lot of guns and it's really dangerous. But, I feel like on, like, a daily, like, regular basis, like, they shouldn't, like, regular cops shouldn't be carrying around, like, rifles and stuff like that, because, you know, like, it just makes it more, like, I don't know. It's strange to put into words, but it's just, I just don't think that they should be that heavily militarized if they're, like, just regular cops, you know?
I guess so.
no, not at all. It assumes that the general public needs to be controlled in a militaristic manner.
So from these polls, what people really want is the right to own a gun without harsh regulation the way that many people do, but without the freedom that other people advocate for. They're almost right down the middle in saying, I want to be able to have a gun, but feel safe enough if I don't. I don't want to be in a world where I have to live in fear to feel like I have to have a gun in order to feel safe. The government can't do a lot about this for either side, as they don't regulate what guns do. Each state regulates that. So taken from this, there really are no pros or cons to having government interfere with these guns. If the government is to interfere, then they can regulate the guns to say they all have to be part of a militia, which they currently aren't. And that would force every gun owner to either join the two militias that are active in our country or form their own that need to be sanctioned by a state. That's what the first part of this amendment says, that a well-regulated militia. Until this happens though, it's really all up to the people. If the people don't do what they want to protect themselves against this gun violence, against the people that own guns and advocate to use them whenever they want, then the people are the ones that are hurting themselves. And there's nothing that can be done about it.